Oh, here we are. And I would like to remind everyone out there that, in fact, the Millennium Charter High School will open on the 26th of this month, and it represents about 3 years of hard work. And the Millennium Charter High School, even though being a public charter high school, is a nonprofit. It's a 501(c), and we are in dire need of a few things. Our most pressing need, frankly, is to get hold of some vans. We need to bring youngsters in from South County. We need to bring youngsters from the Monterey Peninsula. Transportation should not be a reason why youngsters cannot be involved in this process and involved in this facility. So one of Phil's major, as the president of the MCAET Foundation, major fundraising efforts this year will be to raise the money for some vans so we can bring youngsters to the school. Now, the school is a school for arts and technology. It's project-based. It's going to be academically rigorous. It's going to be between 8 and 5, and we've got a gifted principal in Peter Gray and a great staff of teachers. We're really excited about it, super excited, but we do have some needs, and the foundation that Phil is the chairman of is seeking funds to help the charter school. Now, having said that, an old friend here is on my left that I've known for quite some time here, and is a wonderful person who is into some very different alternative ways of looking at things, innovative, creative, and because of that, she is a perfect fit as a board member of the Millennium Charter High School. And Patricia Wolff, who lives out in the Carmel Valley area and is a practitioner of alternative ways of doing things. Not traditional medicine, not traditional education. That's what we're going to try to do here, frankly, is we're going to be trying to do different, innovative, creative things, not only in our curriculum, how we address certain needs, like nutrition, so forth. Patty, tell us a little bit about who you are. Not only are you a board member and a good friend, but who are you?
Well, gee, Hamish. I'm a chiropractic physician and a psychotherapist, and I work a lot with young people. I teach meditation and mindfulness practices. And I work a lot with young people and with families, helping people find healthier ways of being in the world and of finding out, especially with young people, who they are and how to actualize who they are in the world. You know, and looking at what gets in people's way for really being who they are and manifesting the gifts they're here to give to the world.
Right. Your experience in our area, of course, a lot of people feel like, well, you know, there's Carmel and there's Big Sur and all these people have it all together. But actually we don't. I mean, we could, in terms of global awareness, ecological awareness, and just simply what we put into our bodies.
Absolutely.
We are not aware, okay? And this is going to be one of the pursuits of the charter school. And I know that you're really concerned with young people and nutrition, for example. And possibly we want to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, nutrition and lifestyle in general. I mean, one of the challenges that I see with the young people I work with, and being a mother of 2 semi-grown kids, is the challenges of high school are enormous. And being involved in all the activities they're involved with, keeping up with their studies, keeping up with homework, and I'm hoping that the MCHC won't have that kind of homework. That it's really hard to pay attention to your physical well-being and be successful. So one of the things that it's really important to me is helping young people and families figure out how to achieve what they want to achieve and still get enough rest, eat food that's actually alive, that's going to nourish them instead of just take care of blood sugar, and have fun doing it. You know, so find joy in their well-being.
Now, you mentioned a little bit mindfulness, and that will be part also of what youngsters will be learning at the Millennium Charter High School, and kind of knowing how they learn, how they go about the process of learning. And I think for many youngsters, they're never given that opportunity. I find it, for example, in the theater for years, that one of the quickest ways I can find how a youngster learns is how they go about memorizing lines. And they would choose according to how they feel that they learn. They would choose certain strategies, write it out, use a recorder. Some would never get it right and would be constantly improvising and so forth and driving everyone crazy. But learning how you learn, that kind of metacognition that Dr. Stevens talks about, which is so important. And Dr. Stevens is a key part of the curriculum for the Charter High School. And she has so much in common with you, and looking again at alternative ways of learning.
Yeah, it was such a pleasure meeting her when she was doing the training with the staff. You know, a lot of my concerns is that young people really have a chance to know who they are, to really own the emotions that they're experiencing, and to instead of trying to get away from what they're feeling, to turn around and really face the experiences that they're having without feeling this is good, this is bad, I should be feeling differently, but to really honor that we all have different ways of learning, we all have different ways of experiencing. And the exploration, and to know how you learn and what's the best way of being successful, I think is so important, because so many kids end up after their 4 years of high school feeling really poorly about themselves, comparing themselves to other people, comparing their learning styles, their emotional styles. And one of the things that I love about the high school, the new high school, is this real emphasis on honoring all different styles, all different ways of learning, and really honoring the importance of kids knowing who they are. And honoring their differences and their idiosyncrasies, and being able to enjoy that with each other, which I really saw on some of the orientation nights, is what a community.
Yes, yes, and I'm really excited about it as well. For years here, and we're talking with Dr. Patricia Wolff, and we're talking about the Millennium Charter High School, which will be opening up on the 26th here. And my experiences in studying other charter schools, once folks figure out what this really is, we're going to be into that kind of a lot of youngsters wanting to get in here, and we have to go to a lottery, okay? Well, there are still, I think, 5 or 6 openings in the freshman class, and in the sophomore class, I think there are 10 or 15. And anybody watching out there, anybody, and we get this message out, do it now, because next year, I am absolutely certain there will be a long list for next year's freshman class, especially if some of the plans reach fruition and we really achieve the kinds of things that we're trying to do. Again, I'm talking with a board member of the Millennium Charter High School, and what do you call yourself?
A chiropractic physician and a psychotherapist.
Oh my goodness, isn't that?
And I teach mindfulness practices to children and adults.
Excellent. And
so one of the other things I wanted to say about the school that I'm really excited about is I love the notion of community and that it's a place that they can't wait to get to, and
yes.
they don't want to leave. And I think from meeting the staff and the principal, I really believe that's going to happen. And that's amazing after having two kids that have gone through high school that would never have said that about their high school experience.
Absolutely. And you know what? And one of the also interesting facets about all of this, we had a major contribution from the Hayward Family Foundation that enabled us to buy a lot of this particular equipment. And I remember talking with Wendy Hayward, who was a former student of mine at Stevenson, and she mentioned exactly that. She said she felt like she had been really well prepared for college, but in terms of practical knowledge and experience, she very little, okay? And like the vocational class at that time at Stevenson was a stagecraft class. And I would actually have youngsters come that came from very privileged backgrounds. One in particular took a hammer the wrong way, did not know how to use a hammer, okay? So in addition to all the other kinds of things that our students are going to get, we're going to get some practical career technical education as well. And Wendy in particular, Wendy Hayward, that is from the foundation, said that was one of her selling points. She really liked the idea that this is a career tech facility, and people ought to know how to do some of these things. So
absolutely, practical skills for living in the world. It's
right.
Comes in very handy.
Right, right, and when I think we're in the process educationally of kind of redefining what it means to be an educated person. And it's not a repository of information and or who knows the most, because that's kind of silly, because you could go to Google and get that.
Yeah.
But as we grow and we change how we define success, and it has to have something to do, I think, with this metacognition, how it is that we learn, how we value other people, and how we live in a global environment. And we need to hold people accountable.
Yeah,
okay?
Absolutely. And I think another thing that's really important in education is empowering young people so that they can shift their paradigm a little bit and have courage and faith in themselves to see something different or think in a different way, and to have that courage to really step up in a different way, even though it's not the traditional.
Right, and again, one of the difficulties that we've experienced in terms of old ways of thinking as we've tried to create this school, frankly, has been people kind of thinking, oh, arts, it's an elective, it's something you do when you want to do it. I mean, it's something you do because it's part of your passion, or you don't do it at all, you're not exposed to it, it's a hobby, it's frivolous. And in fact, as the state of California, in one of their recent publications, if we want to stay competitive on a global scene, we need to really start paying attention to the creative process so that we can have innovative thinkers, not regurgitating.
Absolutely.
But that doesn't mean we're not going to hold our teachers and our principal and everybody associated with the school accountable, because we will. And that's one of the great pluses that this school is associated with the County Office of Education, because Dr. Kadowski, being a real supporter of the idea, is also tough-minded enough, no, we need to, these skills we need to master. This is what we need to have to go on and be a success.
Right, so when kids graduate, they have a choice of whether they want to go on to a competitive university or go right into the job market with skills that they're prepared to do just that.
Yeah. Patty, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
And you've enabled us to talk a little bit about the charter school and some of the things that you and I hold dear. And again, thank you.
You're welcome. I'm really excited.
Yeah.
I'm really excited.